Good morning, everybody. How's it going? I want to make sure the sound is going here. Cool. All right, so in today's video, I wanted to talk a bit about allowance. Now, I'm not going to go super far into this because it goes into many depths and layers, but the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because, and actually I had a good laugh with myself last night, because when I talk about allowance, I know on some physical realms, as when I grew up, allowance can be very much about the money you get from parents, grandparents, or whatever, if you're lucky to have family that has enough to give for that. And so I was thinking that was pretty funny, because what I mean by allowance is definitely nothing close to that at all. The allowance that I'm talking about is what we allow energetically in our lives to affect us, what we allow from other people in our lives to affect us, what we basically allow. And that is why I call it allowance. Right here, I have a crystal in my hand because I'm going to talk about allowance of crystals as well and how much that changes things. Because it's just even the intention of allowing this crystal's energies to affect me. That is the permission and allowance I'm talking about. And it's funny is because some people might not even feel any crystal energies when they first touch it. But something I need you to know is crystal energy is a magical force. It is earth force. It is so beautiful. All crystals are a part of earth. And in truth, all your computers and all of your phones and all of everything has a crystal in it, because that is what retains the memory. That is what is actually used in your computers. How cool is that, huh? A crystal quartz. Anyways, when you go into crystal stores, dude, the charges in certain ones, wow. Yeah. Anyways, this isn't about crystals. We're going to be doing an episode about that too. But I had this little guy here because I wanted you guys to know that it is even in our allowance of crystals to affect us. So it comes all the way down to what we allow. Just as you are listening to me, that is allowance of hearing me. That is allowance of whatever energies it is to affect you. And yet there are ones that we do not allow either. And that is for you to know the boundaries. And so what I'm talking about is we can, in our lives, decide if we allow dark energies or light energies or whatever it is. I'm sorry about my cleavage to some that are looking. I didn't realize the shirt shows it, but I'm talking now, so that's just the way it is. The reason why I'm apologizing for that is because normally I wouldn't think about it, but I do know that men have a way, and I'm not going to say that girls don't either, but I mean, I'll talk about that stuff because it's for being a conscious being, but at the same time, we need to, when I talked about my sex talk in 1-2, and as we go along, I'm going to talk more and more about how much it affects us, the sexuality of everything and what we hold back and what we don't allow and the things that we hide from and all that kind of stuff. So that's all part of it too. But again, allowance. So what I'm trying to say here is, please check in with your life as to what it is that you allow, that you don't realize that you allow to affect you, how you allow people to talk to you, how you allow people to treat you, how you allow yourself to treat others, how they allow you to treat them, how they allow you to speak to them, how you allow yourself to do things, how you don't allow yourself to do things. All of those little things, start to keep track of them to see. And it's nothing stressful. You don't have to be like, I have to keep track of everything. It's just more like, oh, I noticed that I do that. Oh, okay. And then it starts to show you parts of your allowance that affects your life and allows things to be the way they are. So one big one of allowance that I want to share here is it was when I was 13, and it was when I was working. So I started working when I was 10. I actually started working before that, but solidly working and actually getting paid since I was 10 from my family business. And it was, of course, part-time, but part-time was after school. It was right after school we'd go there because we didn't have a babysitter and all this stuff. My parents were at work all the time, so it was basically working was our babysitter. And a way to be with our family, because if we weren't there, if we weren't at the store, we wouldn't have seen my parents for years and years, because they worked 16-hour days for weeks straight. Like, they didn't have days off for years. So yeah, anyways, yeah, I'll tell you about that too, because it's like how we didn't have Christmas for years and how my uncle brought it to us and how it was so amazing. Anyways, lots of stuff. Point being, allowance. So when I was 13, when I was working, I remember, because I've always been talking to many of the voices. And when I say many, yes, there are different ones. And it's not bad. It's just recognizing where they come from. It's not judging them. It's just trusting the feeling, what you feel, you know. And for me, I decided I was done with listening to dark voices. So in my allowance, in my boundary, I asked for the ones that I speak to, the ones that help me along my path, to be only from pure love and light and wishful intentions of the all, for the best of all, and for it coming from positive. And that was my boundary. And that's actually the basis of where all of my stuff really, really started. So I just wanted to share that with you because I wish for you guys all to know that it is in the words that we choose. It is in how we decide to see things, and it is in what we allow. It's our boundaries that we build, because you need to understand that the lives that we live, everything we live, is free will and choice. It's just the way it is. At the same time, I wish for you to know that it doesn't always have to be that way either. We decide the lengths of it. Like when I said that, in that energy, I could be like, that is forever and eternal. Or I could be like, that's until I decide the next one. And I just wish you to know that all of those things make up for what is allowed in our lives. We are the ones that decide the guidelines. Sometimes when you don't draw a line either, things are allowed then too, if you allow it or if you don't. So that can be something you decide to put a boundary on too, meaning all the things that I haven't decided yet, put a boundary there that they can't affect me until I decide that I wish that they do. And it's just that kind of stuff. So a big one is to belief, okay? So when we were kids and they were talking to you about make-believe, and if you don't believe, you don't see, and if you believe, it happens, I cannot stress enough how much that is so true. If you wish to see the magic in the world, you do need to believe in it in some way, or wish to see it, or intend to. There needs to be some action of trust, commitment, faith from you. There just needs to be. And from there, trust me, all the magic in the world is there. In truth, I live my life in magic all the time. And when I say that, I don't mean like the witchcraft and sorcery and stuff that people see in the negative way. I mean the miracles of the universe. I mean the miracles of God, source, creator. I mean the miracles of the all. The synchronicities, the beautiful things that you don't even know but wish can happen, and then they grant it for you. But the big part is receiving, the big part is appreciating, and the big part is gratitude. But I'll be talking about all this as we go along. But anyways, check in with yourself with what you allow, and start building those things of your what you allow, what you don't allow, and start seeing what it is. For me, I allow all the beauty. I allow all the purity of intention, of true love, and people wishing for the best. And that is what I allow. At the same time, it doesn't mean I don't accept. Now, you need to understand this, and I'll talk about this further. I accept that there is darkness, because from acceptance, there's transformation. From avoidance, that means that you don't believe it exists. And so what is there to change or transform? And so I accept, because darkness is in all, but yet the darkness is what allows for the light to choose the light. And so there's so much beauty in that. And just so you know, what is darkness but light that is dark, to learn the whole of light? Anyways, beauty in everything. I love you all, and I hope that helps. And I'll be talking more and more about this soon too. Love you all. I hope that you allow my love, because it comes in the purest form of unconditional love for all. Lots of love. Just gleaming. Just gleaming.